Well, Ulysses, we will roll along with our spring training positional previews and up on the docket, the catching position.
We waited for this one for a long, long time. So let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
We are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also follow us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays and find us on all the other traditional podcasting platforms. And we love the mailbag questions, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Okay, so it is time to dive into the catching position and what that could and should look like for opening day and beyond. As we do these positional previews, we roll through the candidates, how the playing time will be broken down, and some dark horse options as well. As of right now, as of today, as of this recording, there remains one catcher on the Rays 40-man roster, and that is one René Pinto, who has been a mainstay within the Rays organization. He's been with the org since 2014, a 17-year-old Venezuelan. So he has been through the ringer and waited and worked a long, long, long time to what we believe will be the opportunity to be the opening day starting primary catcher for 2024.
Yeah. And with all of that said, of how long he's been in the organization, I think there is no more. Well, let's wait for no, there's just no more. It's like this is your season. We're giving it to you for all of your hard work and everything that you've shown us. Like, here you go. This is your opportunity. Are you going to take it and run with it, or are you going to underperform? Like, this is a very cool scenario because we've talked about, can Meade get some at bats and can he squeeze himself in? When will Caminero get himself a spot? Is Jonathan Aranda going to be given the opportunity to take the DH role and kind of maybe first base or second base, whatever it is? Can this guy even play the outfield, Aranda? And here we are with René Pinto, right? And he's in a better position than all of those guys, than all of those names that are ranked higher than him because of the availability of at-bats. He has them. He is, if he is healthy, Kevin, this is a guy that will see the most at-bats in the 2024 season. And I'd like to ask you, like, do you see this as a big surprise that they didn't go out as of Monday evening, March 4th, to get some catching help outside, or are you not surprised?
Well, I guess I'm not surprised because they gave him a somewhat of a long leash and essentially handed him a tryout towards the end of last season and all the action that he got. And the fact that the Rays were comfortable moving off guys like Blake Snell and Christian Bethancourt and Francisco Mejia, then bringing Francisco Mejia back. I think that all throughout the offseason and towards the end of last season that they expressed confidence that Pinto's the dude. Pinto's the guy. Between the power that he provides at the plate and his ability to frame and his ability to throw runners out, and God knows he spent enough time in the minors working with all the pitchers that have come up and come through the minor league system that it's like he's earned his shot. Let's see what he can do with it. Now, maybe a larger question is he the long-term or mid-term catcher of this franchise? Is it a one and done? Is it a two and done? Or will he actually have some staying power, of 3+ years or more? I think that'll be something that remains to be seen. But based on everything we've read and heard and seen, the Rays love them some René Pinto, which is why they were comfortable with, completely overhauling the catching position. I mean, I don't think it's going to be René Pinto and Francisco Mejia. I think it's going to be René Pinto and Alex Jackson as of today.
Yeah.
And more emphasis on René Pinto than Alex Jackson.
It looks that way, but by far. And, you obviously have, Francisco Mejia in that mix, like you said earlier, but it looks the bigger piece of the pie is going to go to René Pinto. And, obviously there are questions about his ability because he has, I'm looking it up right now, 183 at bats. That's nothing. That's really that's a very small sample size. And yet, that's an 83 OPS plus. If you just look at last year, that's a 97 OPS plus. A 97 OPS plus for a catcher in the Rays organization in the major leagues, you buy.
Right.
You buy that and you go home and you celebrate with your favorite drink. Because boy, have we had not catchers with a 97 OPS plus, and we've had to suffer season after season after season with them. And so is there an opportunity for René Pinto to be that catcher that we have longed for, even though he is 27 years old?
Yes. Yeah, he's 1 year younger than Francisco Mejia, and Francisco Mejia has played 7 years in the bigs.
Exactly. Hey, and you know what? Sometimes, Joey Wendell. Some
guys are late bloomers, especially catchers.
Sometimes it just whenever your turn takes it, you have to. Oh my God, I'm excited about this opportunity for René Pinto, yes. Venezuelan bump included. I would like to just have a catcher who you trust and who, when you see coming up to bat, you don't get deflated. That's all. I'm not asking for Real Muto. I'm not asking for the second coming of Johnny Bench,
for Jonah Heim, for
Adley Rutschman.
Mauer, yeah.
I'm not asking for that. I just want a catcher when he comes to bat. I'm not automatic out. Oh, God, why do we have?
You're looking for more John Jaso and Dioner Navarro than Kelly Shopik and Jose Molina.
Even better.
What I'm hearing. More Wilson Ramos.
Ramos was an all-star.
Less Michael Perez.
Exactly. Even though Clutch had his moments, but yeah, I just want a catcher who you just don't get deflated when they come up to bat and you have men on second and third with an out, and you're thinking, well, that's two. That's the second out coming up right there. That's all I want. I just want an opportunity to have a chance when he comes to bat. Now, behind the dish, from what we've heard and from what has been told, the guy is exactly the type of catcher that you want. Can he build rapport with all these pitchers? The bullpen is stacked. We will get to that episode a little bit later on. The pitching staff, we've talked about the rotation, even though we have yet to go in depth with it in an episode by itself. But how can he handle those pitchers? Because if he can do that, he's going to get the playing time that a starting catcher would, because like you have said many, many times in the last month, he is the only catcher in the Rays 40-man right now.
Right. That is true. And I should note this, based on what he did in 39 games last season, if you extrapolate that over half a season or 162, that's an all-star catcher offensively. I mean, 6 homers, 252 average, 98 WRC plus, like you said, 456 slug over 39 games. Not too shabby there. I know the strikeout to walk ratio is eye-opening and not in a good way. But again, for the Rays and a lot of other organizations, it's all about what you can do behind the plate defensively, and what you get offensively is the cherry on top. It's the bonus. And if you get both those things together, you don't get rid of that catcher. You keep them, and you try to keep them happy as best you can. We have more to talk about on this matter, but first, Ulises, we have to tell the audience something very important.
Yes, we do. And you know what? Conference tournaments are here, which means the biggest moments in college basketball are getting closer. Be a part of the action on PrizePicks for both men's and women's college basketball. I know our USF Bulls are now ranked ahead of the Gators. That is very exciting. So maybe you're a USF alum and that gets you excited for PrizePicks, because PrizePicks even offers injury insurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player projection won't count against you and the rest of your entry stays live. So today, let's go have some fun with PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. I'll say it again for the people in the back. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Okay, so really the big question is, we assume clearly it's going to be René Pinto, and then a lot of the scuttlebutt has been Alex Jackson beyond that. But there are a lot of NRIs, non-roster invitees, that could push for some playing time. But I guess let's start with René Pinto. Mm-hmm. What are you looking for him as far as games played this year? Is it 105, 110, 120? What's your benchmark? What's your over-under?
I'm over-under. If I'm being hopeful, he gets the triple digits. Because I believe that if he gets the triple digits, if he crosses that 100 game mark, if he crosses that, I think we should be pretty happy with the results. That means that something good is happening, either behind the dish or with the bat, or maybe hopefully both. But if he crosses that 3-digit, I would be very happy. So I'm going with an over under 100 for sure.
Okay, if he gets to triple digits in games played, does he get to 15 homers?
I'm going to go under. I'm going to lower my expectations, but you know me, man. I mean, and everybody here watching this that has been watching for a long time, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting that like button. Venezuelan bump. I rarely get a Venezuelan player with the Rays. Very rarely. Few and far between. Which is odd, right? Because they're in every other team. I really want the best for René Pinto. I am pulling for this, like a you-know-what. Really, really hard for him because, imagine this. Imagine, Kevin, like 20, you said 2014. He was 17 years old. In 2014, we were graduating college.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Just picture everything that has happened to, you were in.
He spent a generation with the Rays, basically.
Everything that you've done in your life since you graduated college. You were in a bum blank Midwest America.
Yeah.
Getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning, working a radio job. This guy was like, okay, I hope with
a terrible boss and nothing to do and crazy weather. That's Oklahoma for you.
Yeah, Oklahoma. This guy was like, okay, maybe one day I'll make it. And now he has his opportunity. I'm pulling for him, but he does have some competition. Alex Jackson. They really like what this guy has. Rob Brantley, he could come up and do something. Francisco Mejia, hey, he knows the pitchers. They like his bat. Right. Can he make a comeback? And you know what? I believe he had 2 at-bats, Francisco Mejia, the other day. In one game, 2 at-bats, 1 hit. Boom. Okay. That's what he does.
And acknowledging that spring training stats don't matter, but yes. I think that based on what I've read and heard is that the team more or less lost confidence in his defensive abilities. Same thing with Christian Bethancourt. But I'm with you on the Pinto front. I think that I could see him, maybe not this year, but sometime in his career, his playing career, that he gets an all-star berth. I think there's so much to like about his game. He's got the monster power. Don't leave a fastball middle, folks. It's interesting because I watched some clips of him, and I guess part of the reason he's able to take a step forward in his game, he did go through a swing change, and he did get in better shape, allowing him to make quicker throws off one knee. And we saw him make hard, accurate, quick throws to whoever's covering second or whoever's covering third. I think in the clips I saw Brandon Lau and Curtis Mead respectively, right to their glove. Yeah. Easy tag. They don't even have to move to tag the runner out there. But what I noticed in watching some of his at-bats, I know the strikeout to walk ratio is ugly, but I think he's got a little bit of a better approach and better discipline than he's given credit for. I've seen him be able to lay off tough breaking balls on the inside corner or outside corner. I think, some of the swing and misses, I don't know if they're fluky or what, but it's swinging through fastballs that are middle up or they're in the zone. He's just whiffing on them. But other times, he gets that perfect pitch and he's able to take it, 420 feet down center. So I really don't know what to make of all that, but I think that he can hit enough, and quite frankly, more than enough, to establish himself. And I mean, it's really, I got to be honest, I'm not excited about watching Alex Jackson or Rob Brantley. I mean, Alex Jackson, I know he's a former number 1 overall pick, but he's soured on other organizations. I don't think he played a game in the majors last year. Like, it's just, it's whack-a-mole, handed off to another organization to see if they can fix him or get him right or give him an opportunity. So, I'd be more interested to see what, how Logan Driscoll comes along, something to that ilk. But I'm all about, hey, just roll Pinto out there and play him as much as he's willing to do, and how, just ensuring that he doesn't get worn down completely by the position. But I just want to see a lot of Pinto this upcoming season versus Alex Jackson or some other guy that's on the NRI list right now.
And I think the Rays feel the same way. And that's why I believe they let him play in the Venezuelan Winter League. Yeah. And I can tell you that in 25 games, he had 4 home runs. Again, like, extrapolate those numbers, folks. And like, let's say he plays 100. What? We're looking at 16 homers? Like, it's very fun to play that game. He had a 740 OPS in those 25 games. A batting
That's
average.
An all-star for a catcher.
Yeah,
if you're able to hold it up defensively, and some of the framing metrics believe he's better or well above average.
So he's a power hitting catcher that does not have a 210, 190 average. He actually has a 247 average. So I feel like René Pinto, it's like, this is the most, hey, here's your shot. We're not going to really touch you. We're not going to touch you. And so because of that, I am not ready to make a judgment on him until around 200 at-bats.
I think that's fair.
I think I will give him 200 at-bats. And if he's doing horribly, I got to say, hey, look, we gotta do something else. We gotta look at somebody new. But 200 at-bats and he's doing well, this guy could be our catcher, which is nuts, Kevin, because again, he's 27 and he's under team control like a you-know-what. Right. So you're telling me that you had him. You've had him for 10 years, and he could potentially perform so well that he could be your catcher for the next 4 or 5 years.
And I guess my point is the confidence and what the Rays like about him. They had and have had opportunities to acquire a catcher, whether it was through free agency and some of the, I don't want to say run of the mill, but guys who have the big league experience that you could sign for a year and see how it goes. Like, there were those types of guys out there that you could have made a move for. And you also had some pretty notable trades made already, that, as part of your asking price, you said, hey, we need a catcher. We need somebody. And they chose not to do that at this point. So I think
Imagine
they're ready to ride out the string of him.
Imagine how good they feel about René Pinto. That let's look at 1-year deals. Austin Hedges, $4 million. They're like, no, we're not giving Hedges $4 million for no bat and a lot of defense. No. Gary Sanchez, $3 million. They're like, nah, we're not going to give Gary Sanchez $3 million. Grandal, 2.5 mil. Nope, we're not going to do that. Jacob Stallings, $2 mil. Can you give $2 mil to Jacob Stallings? And they're like, no, we got Pinto. We are okay with Pinto. It's an Eric.
And you could argue that these guys, at the very least, at least they provide some veteranship and some leadership. Right. And hey, I've got 8, 9, 10 years experience in the bigs. I've won a championship. I've been in the playoffs. I've worked with Cy Young Award winners and all-stars. And I know, what it's like to deal with this position season in, season out, organization in, organization out. And they said, no, we Pinto's fine on his own, basically.
Pinto's, and so this is, and knowing what this front office is, how they act, how they evaluate players, and given all of these names that were available for not a lot of money, and they said, nah, we're fine. Yeah. That should give you, Rays fans, a lot of hope that maybe René Pinto is going to be the guy. And you know what? Maybe you have a few Grin Skittles and you're like, well, maybe I can use these Grin Skittles somewhere.
Yeah.
Where could
there's a great place. Yeah, there's a great place to do that. And that is FanDuel. And you can get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Might be smart to bet on the USF Bulls and their basketball team in the next couple weeks. Just saying. That's $150 if your bet wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams, college players as well, with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON, to shoot your shot today. I'll repeat it one more time. FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON, to shoot your shot. FanDuel, they are the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So kind of continuing on and moving at dark horse candidates, if there are any. I mean, we've more or less agreed that as of today, this evening, it is Pinto and Jackson. Mm-hmm. Anybody else gets a game, a handful of games after that, who are you pegging that for?
I think Francisco Mejia is third in line for playing time. You don't dislike the bat at all. You don't dislike the hustle. You don't dislike the clubhouse environment that he's stepping into and what he can provide in it. There were never any rumors or anything like that he was a bad guy or anything like that. You wouldn't bring him back if that was the case. So
right, exactly.
Everything points to him being a good addition. So he would take third spot. And call me biased, our boy, friend of the program, Logan Driscoll, I'm going to go with him fourth. I think he's got a better shot than Rob Brantley because, like we were just saying with René Pinto, if René Pinto could develop into your catcher for the next 4 or 5 years, well, you know what's even better? If you have a guy that's coming up from the minor system that you built, that you can have under team control for the next 4 or 5 years and create a very powerful tandem. And if Logan Driscoll can be that guy, my goodness, the Rays would have no catching issues for the next foreseeable short-term future, which is an insane thing to say if you followed this team.
Yeah, let's be like the Blue Jays. Let's have a really, really good tandem or trio at the backstop there. And yeah, I mean, I think that Driscoll, he tore it up in Durham and Montgomery this past year, friend of the program, like you mentioned. And I think maybe it's somewhat telling that they opted to keep him rather than trade him and keep Blake Hunt. Because I know that, there was a decision to be made there to some extent. But yeah, I think it's give him an opportunity over a Rob Brantley or a Nick Meyer or a Kenny Piper. You probably have never heard of those guys. I've never heard of those guys either. I'm just looking at the Rays non-roster invitee list online. Now another guy that is rolling up the prospect list, Dominic Keegan out of Vanderbilt, 24 years old, give or take. I believe his highest level is A-ball. I mean, if the Rays took this much time with René Pinto, something tells me that as much love as Aram Layton and others are giving Dominic Keegan, a little bit too premature to say that he's going to get any action in 2024 in the Rays uniform.
Yeah, and when you look at what he's done in A and high A and rookie ball, dude, it's pretty impressive. I'll read the slash line for those who don't know it. 291 average, 389 on base, 477 slug. That's an 866 OPS, 15 home runs in 118 games. Obviously, you can't just translate those numbers to MLB,
right?
But he's doing very well for himself right now. Again, Vanderbilt guy. So, David Price shot out right now. Vanderbilt. You have a college experienced guy. I don't think that you will see him this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the conversation for 2026.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Because I think, when you have a guy you sign at 18, 17, that takes time. And not only baseball wise, but physically wise, you're just not a man yet at 17, 18 years old. And also the maturity level. You can't hang. A 17-year-old can't hang with a 25-year-old. They just can't. It's very difficult. So then there's also time for that. But he's not that guy. He's 22. So hopefully at age 24, he'll be in conversation. But I just don't see Dominic Keegan making any type of splash this year.
Hey, another guy I forgot to mention, Ford Proctor, who was getting action at catcher. The Rays opted him as well. And to your point about playing time, I should note that, at least over the last several years, it's been typical for the Rays' primary catcher to get max of 105, 110 games. I mean, Zunino in his all-star season played 109.
Yeah.
Last year, Bethancourt played 104, and then Mejia in 2022 played 93. So I think that would probably check out pretty consistently there.
Cool.
Yeah, so there we go with the catcher position. Do want to note one thing. I do like to bring this up, of course. So we've mentioned a lot of X-Rays catchers, Deanna Navarro, Kelly Shopik.
I always forget you're going to ask me this question. I always forget. How do I keep forgetting?
Jose Molina, Wilson Ramos, Mike Zunino, Michael Perez. I want you to name me two other primary catchers during the Rays tenure between 2008 and 2023.
Basically, these are the players that have given me gray hairs. So I'll go with Hannigan. I think in 20.
He is not on this list, but that's a good guess.
Okay. Rivera
is on this list, boasting a negative 1.9 WAR in 2015.
Oh,
one more.
Okay. Oh, Kelly Shopik.
Well, I mentioned him already, so he's off the board.
Okay. Jose Lobaton, my friend.
Very good. Jose Lobaton, 1.5 WAR in 2013.
My buddy.
Awesome.
Yes.
The Rays could have Jonah Heim if they didn't trade him to the Oakland Athletics.
But that one
named later in the Joey Wendell deal. Hey, we got Joey Wendell.
That's okay. But you know which one sucks to this day?
Buster Posey. Travis Darnell. Stephen Vogt.
It wasn't even that much money for Travis. It wasn't even that much money, and he didn't fall off. He did not fall off.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Done.
Well, that's the thing. Jonah Heim was a little bit of a late bloomer. I mean, debuted at 25, 26 years old, and in 2020 it happened. So, all right. Hope you all enjoyed the episode. And don't bake on the Rays trading for Salvador Perez or Christian Vasquez in the next couple weeks. Just saying, probably not going to happen. All right. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe.